It continues to baffle me why pronouns are a big deal in current year. To my perspective at least, it all started when people chose to identify as different genders. Then the same people chose to identify with different pronouns just to make it clear. This is where we see profiles and resumes of people having pronouns in their bio. It's to the point where websites like LinkedIn can let you to put in your pronouns as well. This pronoun discussion came back to the spotlight thanks to a bunch of people who are outraged after Bethesda's latest time-sinking RPG Starfield's character creator asked for your pronouns. Some of them aired their opinions very passionately, to the point where people are clowning on them and making fun of them. This discourse caused quite a mess in social media, and in my timeline at least. It is a very divisive topic that's gonna take a while to explain, so buckle up. Now, if I look at pronouns in a vacuum, there's really nothing wrong with it. I can see how the pronoun information can be helpful to some people, like trans people, people with names that are gender neutral, or anonymous people that either want to clarify their anonymity for some stupid reason, or even pretend to be another gender to protect their identity. But that still doesn't mean that I would have it on my own bio. There are two reasons why. For one, most people can tell that I am a guy, and guys generally use the default he, him pronoun, which I'm perfectly fine with. And if they find my gender ambiguous, I'm fine with being identified as a they as well, or at least when you don't know my gender. If you already do, then obviously use he or him. I respect your pronouns if you accept mine. Or at least I respect your pronouns when it's part of the English language and not one of those people who are like, only neo-pronouns are acceptable. Those are just borderline narcissistic. My second reason is, there's just way too much ideological and political baggage with pronouns for me to willingly identify in my own personal bio. If a website requires me to state my pronouns, sure, I'll state my pronouns. That's not a big deal to me. And the same goes for Starfield. It asked me for my pronouns for my character, so I gave them the pronouns for my character. But if I have the choice to not tell my pronouns, then no, I'm not gonna tell them. Even for LinkedIn, stating your pronoun is perfectly optional. Whereas in Starfield, you have to include it, even though it really doesn't affect anything in the game, apparently. I haven't played the game far enough, but some people say it doesn't. In a vacuum, there's really nothing political about the discussion of pronouns. It's part of the English language after all. But in reality, it's undeniable that the pronoun discussion has a political leaning to it. The people that do have pronouns in their bio tend to be leaning left. The people that encourage others to have pronouns in their bio tend to be leaning left. It's rare to see people on the right use pronouns in their bio unless they happen to be trans, which are super rare these days, and even then, they probably won't have pronouns in their bio. Using pronouns in a bio feels like I am aligning myself into a political side that I'm not really comfortable aligning myself with. It's just not who I am. I don't identify as left or right. I'm not trans either. I am a guy, and guys by default just use the he, him pronouns in the English language. I personally don't see the need to identify my pronouns to the public because it's already very clear, but I can see why others need it in specific context, and people can still support LGBT people without the needs of having pronouns in the bio. If you have to demand people to use that, which unfortunately happens in a lot of social media, that's just you being an ass. Point is, I can see how pronouns in the bio is useful for certain people, like trans people, or at least the ones that conform to the English language. For cis people, on the other hand, I really don't see a purpose for them to have pronouns in their bio. Maybe if you have a gender-neutral name that people can easily mistake you as a woman or a man. Maybe if you're totally anonymous and you want to clarify how people can identify you, or if you're anonymous and you want to trick people into thinking that you're another gender. But most people are too lazy to find out your real gender, so they just use they, or at least that's what I do. Or maybe the pronouns in the bio are to show to everyone that you are an ally and you lean left. I mean, that's a noble goal and all, but unfortunately with people who have pronouns, good intentions tend to pave the road to hell. Seriously, it's bizarre how people who have awful takes or did awful things almost always have pronouns in the bio or make a big deal of pronouns. I don't understand why. Is it because these people virtue signal to pretend to be good people on the surface just to hide their nasty behaviors? Or is it because these people are way too paranoid with their own lives that they see a genuine and honest mistake as a threat to them? I mean, I know people who use pronouns in the bio that are actually really cool people. Some even follow me on social media, and some I also follow on social media. So no disrespect to you all. But man, how is it possible that pronouns in the bio almost always equal bad takes or bad people? It's bizarre how that's a counter argument these days, though I find it funny that both the pronouns in bio argument and anime profile picture argument are basically different ways of dismissing arguments. Now let's get back to Starfield. Why are people so upset by the pronoun selection in the game? Well, It's the same reason why I wouldn't want to have pronouns in my bio. It's because of the political baggage that comes with pronouns in current year. If you put the context of being able to select your pronouns to the real world and the kinds of people that always identify their pronouns in the bio, i.e. leftists, then yes, you would be reminded of the real world in the scenario, and you would be upset that the game reminds you of the real world. And yet, despite all of that, I'm not really upset by this. At the end of the day, if you take your political and culture war goggles off, it's just a pronoun selection in a video game. You can see it as a representation of a bigger cultural and societal problem, or you can see it as just an option for the players to freely take. Both are, in my opinion, understandable viewpoints. Not necessarily valid, but they are at least understandable to me. But the cold hard fact is, you can choose your pronouns in the game, and most people merely see it as just that. It's an option for the players to choose. This is why to a lot of people outside of the culture war bubble, it's not really that big of a deal. And sorry to disappoint, but I really don't see this as a big deal either. And believe me, I've dealt with insufferable people with pronouns in the bio all the time on my videos and on my stream. ABB Show, link down below, go subscribe. New episode every Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I know the wider cultural and social implications of having pronouns in the bio, but even I am not so entrenched in the culture war that someone asking me what my pronouns are caused me to have enraging flashbacks over these pronoun warriors. At most, I would be baffled, like that Pokemon tournament guy, but I wouldn't be pissy and raging about it. I think how much it will affect you emotionally depends on your investment in the culture war. It explains why most of the people who are not affected by it are normies who aren't as terminally online as everyone involved in the culture war. The thing is, I'm very familiar with the culture war stuff, and even I am not outraged by it. Why is that? Well, two reasons. One is because the game itself isn't really the problem. It's the cultural and societal issues surrounding the game that is the problem. So I wouldn't put my outrage over the fact that the game asks you that question, the same way I don't bash LinkedIn for that feature either. And two, I just want to know if the game is good or not. I don't really care if they ask me for my pronouns or my sexuality or how much sex I had. I mean, Catherine asked me those kinds of questions and I'd answer yes or no depending on when I played the game. I don't mind video games asking basic questions like my characters' pronouns. I do mind video games being crappy. And boy, if you think 2023 hasn't been a great year for video games, you are blind, my guy. Even Starfield gets positive reviews. The game isn't exceptional or anything, but it's definitely good enough for most people to enjoy. I heard people say something along the lines of, but it is a big deal. We have to get outraged by this because this is a symptom of society's bigger problems. Yes, but we're not talking about society's bigger problems. We're talking about a video game. Whatever reasons that explains why people get outraged by it, they are still, at the end of the day, getting outraged by a pronoun option in a video game. People are not gonna see why you are outraged. They're gonna see what you're outraged at and make their own conclusions if it's worth the outrage or not. There are loads and loads of people around you who think that this is a minor issue. There are people who think that this isn't a problem and they don't take your concerns seriously. I think we should make those people understand why you have a problem with this. I mean, if you think that this is a big deal and people look at this hoopla and think, oh, this isn't that big of a deal, that's a problem, right? I mean, can we at least agree on that?
Yes, there was a problem.
And that brings me to another question. Should people be as concerned and as emotionally invested with this issue as much as others are? That really depends on who you ask online. And if you ask people offline, oh boy, they will have different opinions on them. Personally, the game having the ability to select pronouns is such a small and petty non-issue that no one who has ever touched grass should really make a big deal out of it. It's a small option that doesn't really have any significant change to the game. I care more about the game if it's fun or not. And the game is fun so far, so at least it fulfills that requirement. What you should be concerned about are the people in the real world that bully you or silence you or treat you like trash, that weaponize pronouns just to justify their garbage behavior. And there are loads of people like that in the real world. These are awful people that dox and harass and bully others. These are the people that we should be outraged at, not a pronoun selection in a video game, especially when the pronouns in a video game apparently didn't really do much. To the people who completely ignore how outraged some people get over the option and just say, but he's right though. It doesn't matter if he's being angry and pissy or if he's being polite about it. He's still right. You know the phrase, facts don't care about your feelings? Well, there needs to be an extension to that phrase. People don't care about facts. They care about feelings. That's the cold hard truth. That's why these ideologues win. They appeal to feelings and distort the facts. It's not enough that you have to be right. It's not enough that the facts need to be on your side. You need to present those feelings and those facts in a way that other people can sympathize with you and be concerned over the issue that you have. In marketing, we call this the empathy map. And last time I checked, what we are doing is we are selling our ideas to people. Evidently, loads of people didn't try to sell their ideas, and it leads to them being clowned everywhere left and right. Can you explain to me what good we'll get over getting outraged by this feature? How is getting outraged by a small feature that isn't a big deal to everyone else outside your culture war bubble going to help your cause? This is my problem right here, not just on this issue, but also on other issues as well. In this culture war, I feel like people have been given solutions, but the culture warriors are the ones burning the solution and be like, I don't want a solution, I want to be mad. A while back, I talked about playing games from the past and checking on your backlog to see if there are any hidden gems you can find to get away from this nonsense that happens with current year gaming. And people dismissed it as copium. Well, okay then, stay miserable for the rest of your lives. You know what? Fine. I dropped in my 2 cents. I don't think you should be mad about this whole pronoun selection thing. I think there are other things related to this that you should be mad about. And in regards to Starfield, I think the whole game is more important than the pronoun selection. And so far, the game has been enjoyable to me and loads of other people. So enjoyable that the same guy that was getting outraged at the pronouns option kept on playing the game. But hey, if you want to be mad at both, be my guest. If you want to keep on repeating the same tactic of not selling your ideas to more and more people so that your movement can be stronger, be my guest. Everyone else won't take you seriously. They think that you're a bunch of clowns and memes to be made fun of. Your issues get dismissed. They don't care about your issues, even if they are the ones that can actually fix your issue. The industry will keep on having these commitments to diversity and inclusion because these people have significantly more power and control than you ever will. If you think that's a serious problem, that's great. So do I. But when you chose to be mad about something so minor that the average person doesn't take your actual concerns seriously, then nothing will ever change. It will always stay the same. It will get worse even. That's what frustrates me the most of this whole issue. The industry changes for the worse, but you guys don't change for the better. As a good buddy of mine once said, you get the industry that you deserve. That's all for the video today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more. And as always, huge thanks to all of these wonderful people. If you want to see your names among these legends, then check out the links down below where you can donate just $1 and see yourself among these awesome people. Seriously, thank you so much, and I will see you all next time.